Why does it feel like the pain won't leave your side in these first few days of NoFap? Why does every hour feel heavy, your head noisy, and your body begging to go back just for today? Breathe. This isn't punishment, bad luck, or a sign of weakness. It's the forge. The pain you feel now is the hammer striking the iron of your will. When you give in to the screen, pleasure comes quickly, and the hangover comes even quicker. Emptiness, weakness, shame, drained energy. That's the pain that weakens. But when you hold back the impulse, the pain is different. It's the pain of growth. It's not pleasant, but it's good. It's the pain of the muscle that trembles because it's getting stronger, of the mind that complains because it's learning to obey. Think about it. Any real gain was born from discomfort. Muscle grows by burning. Studying pays off after pages that make you sleepy. Focus only appears when you stop running away. It's the same with NoFap. Anxiety, insomnia, irritation, craving for stimulation. All of this is the workshop where your willpower is being shaped. If it didn't hurt, it's because nothing was changing. Pain is evidence of adjustment. The world has trained you to escape any discomfort. Screen for boredom, sugar for anxiety, distraction for loneliness. Pornography is the perfect shortcut of this culture. Pleasure without conquest, peak without effort, relief without meaning. But then comes the bill. And the bill is always charged in the currency of your dignity. Today you are here to reverse this logic, to feel the right pain, the one that transforms. So make a deal with me. Face this pain as an ally. Instead of thinking I can't take it, ask what is this pain creating in me? Enduring is not romanticizing suffering, it's putting suffering at your service. It's going through the discomfort to get to the other side with more clarity, more energy, more control. And make a simple choice now. Subscribe to the channel and leave in the comments what day you are on. This is not vanity, it's public commitment. Addiction hates witnesses. When you write day 9, you bring responsibility into the light, and when responsibility appears, discipline grows. Today I'm going to show you why pain is not the enemy but part of the process. I'm going to prove to you that it's not breaking you, it's building you. Stay until the end and carry this phrase as the motto of the day. Today's pain is tomorrow's strength. If you look back, you'll notice a pattern. The decisions that made you proud hurt a little at first and relieve later. The ones that gave you relief at the time charge dearly later. This is the math of adult life. And NoFap puts this math in front of you every day. You choose which pain to pay, the brief pain that builds, or the long pain that corrodes. Today the choice is simple and difficult. Pay now to live better later. Don't confuse pain with drama. Pain is data. It's information about what is being reorganized inside you. When the wave comes, observe. Is it heat in the chest? Tightness in the stomach? Mind wanting to negotiate? Name it, breathe, and go through it. You don't have to win your whole life. You need to win the next few minutes. The iron of your will is tempered by minutes. And when you feel like giving up, remember, everything you admire in strong men was forged like this. No one becomes a reference just because they followed their heart. They followed their purpose when their heart only wanted comfort. This is the border between boy and man. Boy wants to end the pain. Man learns to use it. The culture of comfort. We live in a world that sells comfort as if it were a virtue. Any discomfort becomes a product. Hunger, delivery, boredom, endless feed. Loneliness, stimulation on the screen. The rule is simple: felt discomfort, press a button. The problem is that this has trained us to abandon the right effort the instant it begins to produce results. And addictions grow exactly in this space where discipline should be born. Think about the modern routine. Wake up already plugged in. 2 notifications, 3 messages, a quick scroll just to see what's new. Before the brain wakes up, you've already fed the shortcut logic. The algorithm has learned to keep you comfortable, excited, distracted, and cheap dopamine is dripping like a leak. When the first tension of the day arrives, deadline, study, difficult conversation, the mind runs to the shelter it knows. More screen, more stimulation, more escape. That's where pornography comes in as the perfect solution. Silence, privacy, guaranteed peak. No exposure, no effort, no risk. This culture of comfort has convinced you that the good life is the life without friction. But the opposite is true. Without friction, there is no form. It is friction that gives contour to character, that organizes time, that selects what matters. The man who seeks comfort all the time becomes someone always tired, always busy, and inside, always empty. Why? Because too much comfort kills purpose. And where there is no purpose, any pleasure is enough, including the shallowest. Look around. Everything has been designed to keep you sitting, passive, consuming. Deep sofa, ultra-processed food, endless entertainment, jobs that require more screen than body. The take-it-easy industry needs you distracted to grow. And pornography is part of that package, a product that feeds on your tiredness and your rush for relief. You don't realize the price because you pay in invisible installments. Little energy today, less courage tomorrow. Confidence parceled in 12 times. Almost no one told you, so I say. Comfort is great as a brief destination, terrible as a way of life. The pause is healthy, the constant escape is prison. If you want to break free, you will need to reject the doctrine of comfort as the supreme value. This does not mean becoming a martyr or living in hardship out of vanity. It means choosing smart discomforts, protected sleep, simple training, real food, less notification, more silence. It means accepting that the first sensation is not always pleasant, and that's okay. NoFap is counterculture. It's you saying, I'm not going to look on the screen for what I should build in life. Will it hurt at first? It will. But it is this pain that opens space for energy to return, focus to grow, and self-esteem to reappear. When you agree to pay this price, you realize that the right comfort, that of duty fulfilled, is worth infinitely more than the false comfort of instant pleasure. And there's more. The culture of comfort also isolates you. When everything is tailor-made on the screen, you stop asking for help, meeting people, exposing yourself to the real. Without social friction, you lose emotional muscle. The difficult conversation becomes a message, vulnerability becomes a meme, loneliness becomes an anonymous tab. Breaking free begins by reversing this. Less algorithm deciding for you, more deliberate choices. Go for a walk without headphones, call someone, make a coffee, face the silence of the room without compensating with stimulation. It's simple, and therefore powerful. The discomfort of abstinence anxiety that rises out of nowhere. Irritation with everything. Wanting to open the cell phone just a little. Insomnia, racing head, a difficult-to-explain emptiness. If this is hitting on day 9, congratulations. Your brain is signaling that the old system is running out of fuel. These symptoms are not a factory defect. They are the noise of the construction. You turned off the easy dopamine tap, and the body is relearning to live with what is real. Let's translate what happens. For a long time, each search, each click, each new tab generated a peak. To withstand the flood, the brain closed some windows, decreased sensitivity, recalibrated receptors, taught you to depend on high stimulation to feel normal. When you stop, the contrast is great. The world seems dull, studying ways, work drags, social tires. This is the so-called desensitization, returning to the axis. It's the ear that got used to very loud sound and now finds the silence strange. In addition, there is the habit factor. Your body has learned schedules, contexts, and relapse rituals. After the shower, in bed with the cell phone, alone at home, in the boredom of the mid-afternoon. These triggers are conditioned memories. When the scenario appears, the desire comes. Not because you are weak, but because there are deep trails asking to be traveled. Interrupting the path hurts because your brain likes what is automatic. Another point, halt, hunger, anger, lonely, tired. These 4 doors are wide open in abstinence. If you ignore the basics, the desire catches you by surprise. When irritation comes, remember that it has a body. Sometimes it's lack of water, excess screen time, a bad night's sleep, a conversation avoided. Treat the body and the mind improves. Treat the mind and the body follows. Also notice the internal conversation. In abstinence, the mind negotiates, just today, start again tomorrow, you've gone far. This doesn't work for you. Don't argue with the voice. Observe and go through it. Say in a low voice, desire is not an order. Get up, change the environment, light up the room, wash your face, write 2 lines. You don't have to win the week. You need to get through the next wave. And waves pass, always. Most importantly, don't pathologize what is predictable. Anxiety, apathy, temporary drop in libido. All of this is part of the recalibration. If you interpret it as failure, you relapse. If you interpret it as adjustment, you grow. It's like this with training, with studying, with any real gain process. The discomfort of abstinence is proof that the old system is crumbling. Hold on tight. Each day, silence ceases to be a threat and becomes rest. Each night, sleep begins to return to its place. Each no, your will becomes a little thicker. It's the forge working. And if you get that fear of what if I never get better, record this. No one is trapped forever in the valley. The brain is plastic. It adapts when you give it time, consistency, and conditions. 3 simple things sustain this phase. Minimum routine, time to sleep and wake up. Daily movement, any, and human connection. An honest conversation already changes the mood. Don't underestimate the basics. It is he who holds you while the chemistry is reorganized. The metaphor of the iron forge, imagine a piece of raw iron, without shape, without shine, without utility beyond occupying space. For it to become a sword, it needs fire, hammering, a hard and repetitive process. The iron does not choose to go through this, but it is the only way to transform into something that cuts, that protects, that has purpose. Now look at you. Pornography has left you like that raw iron, heavy, without direction. What you feel now, pain, discomfort, anxiety, is the fire hitting. It's the hammer falling. It is this heat and this impact that are shaping your will. Without a forge, the iron will never be a sword. Without pain, your discipline will never be real. This is the point that many do not want to face. They dream of strength without training, of confidence without effort, of freedom without sacrifice. But life doesn't work that way. Every minute that you resist the impulse is another hammering. Every night that you sleep without resorting to the screen is another layer of temper. The steel of your will is being created at the exact moment when you think you are getting worse. It's not getting worse. It's transformation. And there is another important detail in the metaphor. When the blacksmith molds the iron, he needs to repeat the process many times. Heat, beat, cool, reheat. This is how the structure becomes resistant. One hammering is not enough, just as one day without pornography does not solve it. It's repetition, it's sequence. It is living entire days facing the fire to only then realize that the shape has begun to change. Patience and consistency are as important as the desire to change. The iron does not complain about the fire. He doesn't say, "This hurts too much, leave me as I am." He simply goes through it. Who complains is the man who has not yet understood what is at stake. You can rebel against the pain, think you don't deserve to go through this, but that will only delay you. When you accept pain as part of the forge, everything becomes more bearable. Because instead of seeing meaningless suffering, you see purpose. Purpose changes everything. So keep this image. Every time you resist, another hammering. Each wave of desire is another chance to strengthen yourself. The raw iron does not like the fire, but thanks it later. You will also thank when you look back and realize that today's pain was the workshop that shaped the man of tomorrow. The neuroscience of pain and discipline. Now let's take the philosophy off the table and talk about the raw biology. Your brain is an adaptation machine. Every choice you make creates or strengthens circuits. When you seek pornography, you activate a quick path: stimulus, dopamine, relief. This path becomes increasingly paved, more automatic. When you decide to stop, the brain goes into panic. Where's my dose? That's where the pain appears: anxiety, irritation, emptiness. But beneath this discomfort, something bigger is happening. You are building new circuits. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. It means that your brain is not static. It reshapes itself according to habits. Every time you resist, even sweating cold, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your mind responsible for decision and self-control, is activated. It's as if you were lifting mental weight. In the beginning, the muscle is weak. It hurts. But each repetition makes it more resistant. This is not a metaphor. It's physiology. Your self-control is literally trainable, and pain is the sign that this training is happening. Think of an athlete. The muscle hurts the next day because it was demanded beyond the common. The same goes for your discipline. If you never felt discomfort, it was a sign that nothing was being changed. When it hurts, it means that the brain is leaving the old route and trying to establish a new one. It's difficult because your body hates change. He prefers the paved road. But if you insist, the new road begins to form, and soon it will be the one that the brain will follow automatically. Another point, dopamine is not the enemy. It is necessary. The problem is in the abuse, in the artificial peaks. By cutting pornography, the brain suffers, but also learns to value the small pleasures again. This transition is uncomfortable, but vital. It's like resetting the system. Every minute that you hold back the impulse is a brick in this reset. The emptiness you feel is just the space being cleaned for something better to occupy. So next time the pain comes, remember, it's chemistry in adjustment. It's mental muscle in training. It's discipline being forged inside the prefrontal cortex. You are not failing. You are literally rewriting your brain. And that is bigger than any passing discomfort. It's the kind of pain that pays dividends for the rest of your life. Historical examples of discipline through pain. It's not just you who goes through this. The whole story is full of men who understood pain as a school. Sparta trained boys from an early age in hunger, cold, silence, not because they were cruel, but because they knew that only discomfort forges soldiers. Desert monks retreated to face loneliness, not to escape the world, but to tame their own impulses. Samurai spent years in rigid rituals, facing fatigue, hunger, risk of death, because they believed that discipline was more valuable than easy life. All these examples seem distant, but they keep the same logic that you are living today. The Spartan who endured the pain of training was the same who won in the war. The monk who endured the silence was the same who found inner peace. The samurai who endured the weight of the sword every day was the same who entered battle with calm and firmness. Pain was the rehearsal, real life was the presentation. Without rehearsal, there was no victory. And you? What is your rehearsal? The discomfort of NoFap, the anxiety of abstinence, the loneliness of no longer having the screen as a refuge. This is your dojo, your training ground. Each day resisting is like another practice session. You are not just holding back will. You are training. You are shaping your mind to withstand pressures greater than any cheap impulse. Notice how every man we admire faced pain. Nelson Mandela endured decades of imprisonment. Viktor Frankl survived concentration camps finding meaning in pain. These extreme examples show the same principle on a maximum scale. Who transforms suffering into purpose comes out stronger. You don't need to live anything so radical, but you need to face your own pain as a tool, not as an enemy. The mistake is to think that you are unlucky because you suffer now. The truth is that you were called to the same training that shaped warriors and sages. The difference is that in your case, the battlefield is silent, hidden behind a screen. But the effect is the same. If you resist, you strengthen yourself. If you run away, you weaken yourself. So, when you feel like giving up, remember, you are on the same path that shaped the great ones. The discomfort that today seems unbearable is the same that will give you firmness to face life out there. Pain is universal. The way you respond to it is what puts you between the weak or between the strong. When pain becomes an ally. Most people run from pain as if it were a monster. Any discomfort becomes an excuse to seek relief. Too much food, endless scrolling, alcohol, pornography. But there is a turning point that separates the men who remain trapped from those who break free. Understanding that pain can be an ally. It seems counterintuitive, I know, but think about the moments in your life when you truly grew. It wasn't when everything was easy, it was when it hurt. It was when you faced the discomfort and, instead of running, decided to endure. The body learns from tension. The mind learns from frustration. The will learns from renunciation. In NoFap, the pain of abstinence is not punishment, it's training. It's the invisible gym of character. When you interpret anxiety as proof that you weren't born for this, the addiction wins. When you interpret the same anxiety as a sign that the brain is recalibrating, you win. It's the same symptom, but in different narratives. In one, you are a victim. In the other, you are a forger. And forging hurts. Common iron doesn't become a blade at room temperature. It needs fire and a hammer. You too. Each resisted impulse is a blow to the metal, shaping a firmer structure. Each difficult night overcome is fire that tempers. It's not pleasant. It's necessary. But how long will it hurt? Until it's enough for you to become stronger than the pain. It's not the answer the impatient mind likes to hear, but it's the truth. You don't control when the wave comes, nor the exact intensity. You control the posture, retreat or remain. Remaining means breathing, disrupting the automatic script, getting up, walking, washing your face, exchanging hot stimulus for cold stimulus, cold water, fresh air, sunlight, and remembering what is at stake when temptation tries to reduce everything to seconds. Remaining also means not dramatizing. Pain is data, not a novel. The wave rises, peaks, falls. It's always been like that. There is also a component of identity. The man who runs from pain sees himself as fragile and acts as fragile. The man who uses pain as leverage begins to see himself as resilient. And when the identity changes, the behavior follows. You stop saying, "I endure because I have to," and start saying, "I endure because I am the type of man who endures." This phrase is not arrogance, it's commitment. It's the silent vow you make to yourself when you choose not to bend. So the next time your chest tightens, when your mind insists on the old shortcut, take a short pause and answer, "Okay, pain, sit here. You're going to come anyway. Since you came, you're going to work for me." Use the energy it brings to push a simple action in the opposite direction. Water, light, movement, call, writing. Pain without direction becomes drama. Pain with direction becomes discipline. And discipline, repeated, becomes freedom. One last key. Treat pain with respect, not with fear. Fear amplifies, respect organizes. Look at it head-on, describe what you feel, name the sensation in the body, bring it to the light. Everything that is named loses half of its power, and the other half you take away by acting. The mistake of confusing pain with defeat. Many people relapse because they read their own pain the wrong way. They wake up without energy, with a heavy head, feel cravings all day and conclude, "I'm worse without pornography." This interpretation is exactly what the addiction wants. It takes advantage of temporary discomfort to tell the old story. "Come back to me, and I'll relieve you." And in fact, it relieves for minutes. Then it delivers regret, shame, and an even greater desire to anesthetize. Relief that charges interest. Look at the scene coldly. You stopped pouring dopamine spikes into the system. The brain, accustomed to the exaggeration, is reorganizing sensitivity. Meanwhile, the world seems colorless. Is this failure? No. This is physiology. It's the system's adjustment. If you interpret it as defeat, you give the wrong meaning to a correct process. If you interpret it as reconstruction, you gain breath to continue. Same pain, opposite reading, different destiny. Confusing pain with defeat also happens because of the myth of the straight line. You imagine that the journey will be a perfect staircase, each day better than the previous one. When a terrible day, a sleepless night, an irritation for no reason appears, you think something broke. It didn't break. Real growth is a saw, not a ruler. It goes up, down, up again, but the average level keeps increasing. It's like that in training, in studying, in work, in any lasting change. Why would it be different in the reconstruction of your will? Another mistake, measuring value by comfort. Today I suffered a lot, so I'm weak. Yesterday I suffered little, so I'm strong. No. The correct criterion is posture, not sensation. If today it hurt and you maintain the decision, then today you were stronger than yesterday. Period. Strength is not absence of pain, it's presence of decision under pain. This metric is liberating because it puts the power back in your hand. You don't control the internal climate, but you control the direction you choose even in the storm. And when you fall? Because it can happen. The Stoic reading continues. Getting up is part of the path, not a shameful exception. Write down what knocked you down. Change one thing in the environment. Tell someone you trust. Follow. Whoever uses the fall to learn accelerates. Whoever uses the fall to punish themselves prolongs the cycle. Enough of giving ammunition to the addiction. Also, notice the internal dialogue. The addicted mind speaks in absolute terms. I'll always be like this, I'll never be able to, there's no point in trying. Exchange for operational language. Today was hard, tomorrow I'll better protect the night. This time of day is fragile, I'll shield myself beforehand. This sequence of apps pulls me, I'll create a block. Absolutes paralyze, operations move. The brain understands simple and repeatable instruction. That's how you disarm the narrative of failure and transform pain into a plan. And when there is a plan, the pain stops being a hole and becomes a bridge. Finally, charge yourself with justice. Firm in the charge, generous in the restart. Making mistakes doesn't define you. Insisting on the mistake, yes. If necessary, reduce the scope of the day. Close the morning well, then the afternoon, then the night. Victory by blocks. In the end, the sum matters more than perfection. What hurts today, tomorrow makes you denser, more stable, more in control of yourself. Examples from modern daily life. Want proof that pain is not defeat? Look at everyday life. No one gets strong without facing hours of discomfort in the gym. The first repetitions burn, the muscle trembles, the mind asks to stop. And it is exactly at this point, at the limit, that the body sends the message of adaptation and grows. Studying is the same. The first pages are boring, the focus escapes, you yawn. After 15-20 minutes of resistance, the mind engages. The same goes for a running workout, for a fast, for learning an instrument. There is a valley between the decision and the pleasure. Crossing it is what separates amateurs from consistent ones. In NoFap, this valley appears in several micro-situations. You get out of the shower and the body wants the old script. You lie down and the mind seeks the automatic fantasy. You open your cell phone and the algorithms serve you what pulls you the most. In all these scenes, pain is the sign that you are moving where you have never moved. It's like tidying up a closet that has been closed for years. Raising dust causes allergies, but that's how you clean. If you use the allergy as an excuse to close the door again, the mess remains there. If you keep cleaning, tomorrow the air will be lighter. More simple examples. Financial discipline hurts when you say no to impulsive purchases and yes to saving apart. It hurts not to order delivery and cook. It hurts to get out of bed when the alarm rings. It hurts to open the editor and write the first lines, but curiously, after the action, the pain turns into satisfaction. The brain rewards the effort with a discrete feeling of pride. This is the pleasure that builds, not the pleasure that charges. Bring this to your routine now. Instead of waiting for motivation, create anchors of responsibility. Make the bed when you wake up. Drink water before coffee. Walk 10 to 15 minutes as soon as possible. Open a book for 5 pages. Send a message to someone important. Each of these small pains organizes your day around conscious choices. And the more conscious choices, the less space is left for unconscious impulses. Pain becomes a filter. It separates what is passing desire from what is true will. Also, remember to protect the corridors through which relapse usually enters. If sensationalist news makes you anxious, cut it off. If short videos trap you, remove them from reach. If the early morning is your weak point, create a closing routine 2 hours before sleeping. It's not fussiness, it's behavioral engineering. You are building an environment where productive pain, that of getting up, moving, thinking, has more chance of appearing than useless pain, that of regretting later. And when that no-reason craving hits, treat it as you would boredom in a line. Accept that it is uncomfortable but temporary and direct the body. Get up, change rooms, wash your face, breathe. You don't need to conquer the universe, you need to conquer the next minute. Do this repeatedly and see the compound effect act. The scar that is born from this process is not ugly, it's a medal. It's what reminds you who you decided to be. Intuition question. Every battle needs strategic pauses. It's not surrender, it's a moment to breathe and remember what is at stake. So far, we have talked about pain, discipline, and transformation. But I want you to look back and ask yourself, In how many moments of your life has pain already been the turning point? Not only here in NoFap, but in other areas. There was a time when you had to endure something difficult, perhaps a heavy workout, an illness, a loss, a disapproval, and even so came out stronger. That's what we're talking about, pain as a silent but fair teacher. Think about how it works in sports. No top athlete reaches the top without having gone through months of pain, injuries, extreme fatigue. The difference is that they have learned to read pain as a sign of progress, not as defeat. The body burns, but the mind understands. This is adaptation. The same goes for you here. The anxiety, the emptiness, the discomfort that appear in abstinence are not signs that you are broken. They are signs that you are being remodeled. Now, I want you to apply this lens to your own story. Ask yourself, how many times did you think you couldn't handle it, and even so you did? How many times did the pain that seemed unbearable open the way to a victory that you didn't imagine? This exercise is not romanticization, it's a finding. You already have proof that you can transform pain into strength. The difference is that now you are going to use this same logic consciously to overcome the addiction. Therefore, today's interaction is not just a detail, it's part of the strategy. Write in the comments, what was the greatest pain you have ever transformed into victory? It can be something small or large, personal or public. It doesn't matter. What matters is bringing it to the light. When you share, you take the pain out of the shadow and transform it into a memory of strength. And more than that, you give ammunition to other men who are here fighting. They read, identify, and realize that they are not alone. Addiction hates witnesses. It prefers that you fight in silence because in silence it dominates. But when you put into words the pain that turned into victory, you break the isolation. And that, alone, is already an act of rebellion. So answer, without shame. What was the pain that you went through and transformed into muscle, character, discipline? This is the type of comment that not only engages, it inspires. Pain is an invisible contract. Have you ever stopped to think that each resisted impulse is a silent contract with your future? It seems abstract, but it's real. When you choose to endure the pain today, you are signing an invisible pact with the man who will be here in months or years. This pact doesn't need paper. It doesn't need a witness. It happens inside you, in the instant you say no to the immediate desire and yes to discipline. It's like saving money. Each small amount seems useless at first, but after months when you look at the account, you realize that that pile of small decisions built something big. Pain works the same way. Each discomfort endured is a deposit of discipline in the bank of your identity. The balance grows, and one day you realize that you are no longer a hostage of impulses. You are in control of yourself. This invisible contract has a curious characteristic. It does not accept shortcuts. If you try to cheat, just today, with just a little, the signature is torn. The future does not recognize half agreements. It only counts when you pay until the end. It's hard, but it's fair. Because character is not built in speeches, it is built in silent, repeated choices. The most interesting thing is that this pact does not remain hidden. It appears in your eyes, in your posture, in the way you carry yourself. Others perceive it, even if they don't know how to explain it. The man who honors his contract with discipline walks differently. He transmits security, firmness, presence, not because he memorizes beautiful phrases, but because he has already faced internal battles and won. So, the next time the pain tightens, remember, it's not just discomfort, it's a clause of the contract. Each time you resist, you are reinforcing the signature. Each time you give in, you are tearing the page. And there is no way to cheat. The brain knows, the body knows, the soul knows. The future, when it arrives, will charge, and it will bring what you signed today, strength or weakness. Look into the eyes of the pain and say, I know what you are. You are my invisible contract. This phrase changes everything, because from victim you become author, and from slave you become builder. Call to discipline. We have reached the point where there is no longer any way to sugarcoat the pill. The truth is simple. Either you run from the discomfort and remain trapped, or you embrace the pain and conquer freedom. There is no third way. Discipline is not punishment. It's the protection that separates the free man from the enslaved man. And if you want to win this war, you need to change the way you look at discomfort. The pain of abstinence is not divine punishment. It's not a sign of defect. It's not proof that you are condemned. It's the price of reconstruction. Think of an old house being renovated. Dust, noise, mess. It seems worse than before, but that's exactly what prepares the space for something new to be born. The same happens with you. This chaos you feel now is the process of reforming your mind. The Stoics already said, discipline is not deprivation, it's power. The man who does not control himself controls nothing. And in the end, that's what is at stake here. It's not just about quitting pornography. It's about regaining control of your own life. It's about looking in the mirror and recognizing someone who fulfills what they promise. So, today's call is direct. Embrace discipline. Don't run from it. Don't treat it as an enemy. See it as a shield. Each time you resist the impulse, you are raising a wall around your mind, and the more walls, the less chance of invasion. Discipline is the fortress that protects your dreams. Don't wait to feel like it. Don't wait for motivation to fall from the sky. Discipline is born precisely in the absence of will. It's saying, I will, when everything in you screams, I don't want to. This is the point where ordinary men stop and disciplined men advance. Look at the next days with clarity. It will hurt, it will tire, there will be relapses. But if you embrace discipline as a lifestyle, each stumble will be just a detail. The greater path does not change. So, here is the call. Get up, breathe, face it. Don't negotiate with desire. Don't surrender to comfort. The discipline that hurts today is the freedom that sustains tomorrow. Every pain you are feeling now will turn into a scar. And a scar is not a sign of weakness. It's a seal of battle. It's the mark that time leaves on those who did not run from the fight. Men who have never faced anything hard, who have never had to face their own addiction head-on, may even seem calm on the surface, but they carry within themselves a huge emptiness. You don't. You chose to be here, exposed, sweating, feeling every second of discomfort, and that's what will differentiate you. Think of an ancient warrior returning from a war. He doesn't come back clean, nor intact. He comes back with scars, scratches, marks on his arms. But each mark tells a story. Each cut is proof that he was there, that he did not give up, that he did what many would not have the courage to do. That's exactly how you need to start looking at what you are experiencing in NoFap. This pain is not shame, it's proof that you are forging scars of honor. Pornography leaves invisible marks: tiredness, shame, isolation, lowered eyes. Discipline leaves different marks: erect posture, firm gaze, energy that overflows. And the transition from one to the other only happens when you face pain as an inevitable part of the cure. Not as punishment, but as a mandatory passage. You may even think, but I have fallen so many times, my scars are of failure. No, a scar of failure only exists when you decide not to get up. If you get up again, each fall becomes part of the learning. A scar of failure transforms into a scar of honor when you carry it as a reminder that you will not repeat the same mistakes. The difference is not in the fall, but in what you do after it. Look at your life now. How many times have you let pain paralyze you? How many times have you believed that discomfort was a sign that you wouldn't make it? Today, it's time to reverse this logic. Every time it hurts, remember, I'm growing. Every time the emptiness appears, say, I'm being forged. Because that's exactly it. Iron doesn't become a sword without going through fire. Man doesn't become master of himself without going through pain. The problem of our generation is that we were taught to run from discomfort. Society sells us immediate comfort, fast food, instant pleasure, endless distraction. But none of that creates strong men. It only creates dependent men. Men who can't stand being alone with their thoughts for 5 minutes. Men who prefer the anesthesia of a screen to the challenge of facing their own mind. That's what you are breaking now. You are swimming against the current. You are challenging not only pornography, but an entire system that wants you weak, addicted, and without purpose. And the weapon you have is precisely what they want you to run from: pain. Because it is in pain that discipline is born, it is in discipline that freedom is born, and it is in freedom that true life is born. Save some phrases, because they will accompany you when temptation hits hard. The pain you feel today is the strength you carry tomorrow. Each resisted impulse is an invisible scar that increases your honor. Whoever runs from pain runs from their own greatness. The slave seeks pleasure, the free man endures discomfort. The discipline that hurts now is the freedom that sustains later. These phrases are not slogans, they are war reminders. Repeat them to yourself when the mind starts to invent excuses. Because the mind is clever, it will say, "You deserve to relax, just today, just one video." But discipline answers, "No, I deserve something bigger. I deserve to be free." Now take a deep breath and imagine yourself in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, not only without pornography, but more erect, more confident, more in control of yourself. Visualize the people around you, noticing the difference in your eyes, in your energy. This will not happen by miracle. It will happen because you endured the pain when many gave up. It will happen because you chose to honor your scars instead of hiding your addictions. And when you get there, you won't say it was easy. You will say it was hard, but it was worth every second. Because everything that has value in life comes with pain. Everything that builds character goes through discomfort. The difference between ordinary men and extraordinary men is what they do when pain arrives. The ordinary run away. The extraordinary embrace. You are at this point now, in the heat of battle, in the middle of the pain. And it is here that it is decided who you will be. Not tomorrow, not next month, it's today. The choice is not between pain or pleasure. The choice is between temporary pain that generates freedom or cheap pleasure that generates prison. So close this chapter with a clear decision. Don't face this pain as an enemy. Carry it as a trophy. Each scar that is born from here will be your medal of honor. Because in the end, it is not the pleasures that tell the story of a man. It's his scars. Your strength is being forged now in the pain you endure today. Don't waste it. Don't negotiate, don't run away. This is the time when you stop being a slave and start being master of yourself.